In the early morning hours on the 15th of April, 1912, the largest ocean liner in service at the time struck an iceberg, leaving 2,224 people to fight for survival in the cold Atlantic waters. It was in these waters that Leonardo DiCaprio committed an act of love, giving his own life as he sank to the bottom of the ocean. Even though we all know there would have been enough space on the door if Kate Winslet had just moved her fat butt. But this isn't the love we are talking about today. No, the love we are talking about is the untold story about the man that stayed behind to save as many people as he could. The man that even went to the lower decks to save the people that didn't deserve it. Because, my dear, mentality changes. Love understands that there is no such thing as people who don't deserve love. So what about love? Joining me on the show this week to discuss our absolute favorite topic is my dear friend, Nick Killian. Okay, Nick, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Right, so,
Okay, so
straight to you. Tell us about love.
first of all, I just want to say, I think it's awesome what you guys are doing with the whole change the mentality concept, helping the youth of today actually change their perspective on life, changing the fundamentals of the way that we perceive life, which is awesome. Thank you guys for doing that in the first place. And then, yeah, I would like to say that first we need to establish that when we speak about love, it's a very personal persona. It's a very personal thing, and love projects itself differently to different people. Love has different depths. It's the same love that you have for your father is not the same love that you have for your sister. It's at a different depth. The same as what a personal lover would be at much deeper depth to you. So, but they all touch on one fundamental, which is unconditional love. So I do believe that we all experience these kind of traumas in our lives, things that happen from a childhood or something that maybe somebody was shamed sexually or something in that perspective. And what then happens is love gets twisted, it gets hurt. It kind of builds maybe a guilt feeling, or maybe a lustfulness or something like that will be built into our ego self. So I think the ego self is what causes the manifestations of greed and jealousy and these kind of, how can you call them, the seven deadly demons. You know what I mean?
If I'm understanding you right, it's like there's the truest form of unconditional love. That's like where we actually want to be at. And then you have like these hurdles that are in between on the way, that are holding you back from that unconditional love. And those are the ego things that we are dealing with personally. So people actually need to understand us in that, and not judge us in that for not being able to give more love. And it's also where we need to understand ourselves and work on those aspects that are preventing us from reaching that ultimate unconditional love.
That's like a more conscious way of living. It's so I don't know if you've seen the studies that they did in Portugal on the way they approach drug rehabilitation and the way they approach drug addicts. I mean, the country went and legalized everything, and like all of a sudden, like everything started healing. And it's because of the perspective, the mindset was changed. Instead of judging them, instead of judging, blaming, shaming, locking them up for what they're doing, it's going down to the fundamental roots of it. It's where does it come from? Where does the need for the coping mechanism come from?
Yeah, exactly.
And as soon as you can establish where that came from, you can start healing it. But it's a personal thing once again, because it has to come from a personal acceptance of, listen, I am flawed in this in this aspect, and realizing it's due to something that happened in your life personally, and because you were influenced by it, your perspective on it changed. And now you have to heal that within yourself before you can be freed of these filters, these greeds, and the selfishness and those kind of things. so that you can actually start acting from a perspective of unconditional love again, where it's, I'm doing it because I love doing it. And if I don't do it, who's going to do it? Because I love doing it. It's who I am. So you have to learn to love yourself before you can truly inspire love again. So love is a very personal journey.
So Nick,
it's universal and personal at the same time.
Yeah. So Nick, I'd like to add to that. So you remind me of something that I've said quite a few times, and it's something that I believe very strongly, and that is you only so in the first place, love and understanding go hand in hand, but that's not what I'm talking about now. I'll address that later. But you can only you only love other people as much as what you're you need to learn to understand and love yourself first. You need to understand why you are doing, you need to stop judging yourself for the things that you are doing. So I see a lot of people in the world that are so angry with themselves and have so much guilt and so much judgment against themselves for the things that they are doing. And I want to say to those people, stop it. You need to stop. You need to stop judging yourself, and you need to start answering the questions, why am I doing this? And you need to start understanding yourself, and you need to start forgiving yourself and actually breaking everything apart and looking at everything and saying, this is why I'm doing it, and understand and realize that it's okay. Everything, no matter what you did, no matter what you are doing, no matter how bad it is, understand yourself and forgive yourself and tell yourself it is okay, because that is the only way you're going to change, and that's the only way you're going to stop, and it's the only way you're going to reach a point where you can love yourself. And only once you've perceived yourself in that way, in that light, where you perceive yourself, where I understand everything that I am doing, I understand the reasons why I'm doing it. It's only when you reach that point that you can look through those goggles at other people, through that filter towards other people, and actually see people in that light, and actually understand. And then it becomes clear as daylight why everyone else is doing what they are doing. And then you suddenly love people, and you suddenly understand people, and you suddenly lose all that judgment towards other people, no matter what they are doing. And that is the key point. There is nothing that is so bad that you can't understand the person and you can't love. Absolutely nothing. I mean it. There's so many people that will object to it and say, yeah, but he did this, he did that, he did that. I don't fucking care. There's no reason why you can't love other people. There's no reason why you can't understand other people. And there's no reason why you can't forgive other people. And that is the only way you're going to help them to change. And that's the only way you're going to change yourself. And that's the only way we're going to save this world. Back to you.
And that is true.
Yeah.
And that is true. No, it's so true, dude. It's so true. It's people don't understand that it starts with you. It starts with you. If you want to see a change in the world, you have to change within yourself first. You have to accept yourself, accept your flaws. Accept your flaws. You're human. You're human, the same as all of us. We all make mistakes. It's in our DNA to make mistakes. We go out of our way to make mistakes. It's the way we learn. It's the way we reach innovation, and the way we start perceiving deeper depths to life. I mean, without the mistakes, how can you grow as a person? You can't grow in an education if you don't fail at education in the first place, and teach yourself that, listen, I need to excel in this manner because last time that manner didn't work. So love is kind of the same thing, and it comes down to love isn't something that we give to somebody else. It's not an objectified thing. It's not, oh, but I love this person, she's my person, it's only my person, and nobody's allowed to have my person. It's not about that at all.
That is not love. That is possession. That's all it is. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And because you love yourself, then you find that person who just loves you for being you. And thus everything just grows within love. I mean, it's not a jealousy thing. It's not a possession thing. It's just a way of being. It's literally just living in love with everything that you do. It's from the way you cook. I mean, love the cooking that you're doing, because it's going to produce a healthy body.
Hmm.
I love
Yeah.
the water that you drink, because the water cleanses your body. Love the education that you're giving yourself, because you're teaching yourself how to survive in an economical world.
Yeah.
It's loving money, not because money is the root of all evil. No, it's because understanding money, understanding the tool and the mechanism behind it, gives me the opportunity to work with it and constructively build into this world from a perspective of love.
Hmm.
So it's kind of a way of being more than it is of something that I give and take. It's not a give and take. It's just a being.
That's what I think. That's what I think happens. So it's when we don't understand things. So it's literally I see it happening. I see it happening in the world where you have the anger, and you have the fear, and you have the jealousy, and you have um, all of these negative aspects that take place in their life that people consider natural. And of course it is natural, but I see that what's actually going on is that people aren't understanding the situation. They aren't understanding other people, and it's that
Mm,
lack of understanding of the situation or other people or things like that creates this misconception. So it creates we perceive the situation incorrectly. We perceive other people as
mm,
being this thing, being this bad, being this evil, being this problem, whereas they actually aren't. And it's our lack of understanding towards those people. It's us not getting them. You don't get what's actually going on. And because you don't get what's actually going on, you think that they are something else. You think that they are doing it because of some reason. You assign something to them which isn't true, because you aren't seeing the actual full picture. And because you don't understand them, because you don't perceive what's actually going on, because you're creating this image in your head and this perception in your head which is flawed and false, you end up hating, and you end up being jealous, and you end up having these negative emotions towards something that does not deserve those emotions and should not have those emotions portrayed towards it at all, ever, with any situation. Again, I'll say, it doesn't matter what they've done. It doesn't matter where they're from. It doesn't matter what country they're from. It doesn't matter what their religion is. It doesn't matter what their beliefs are. It doesn't matter if they're part of ISIS or who knows what. All of that doesn't matter. They are real human beings that are misguided.
mm.
Yes, what they are doing is bad, but it's their actions. The actions don't make the people. They're not part. It's their misguidedness that leads them to those actions. And as soon as we understand that it's just an innocent person that is lost and hurting and needs help that's behind it. So what they actually need from us is love, and they need us to in a sense save them from the situation that they are in.
That's so true, because how can when we work from the ego self, so the ego self is those twisted manifestations, is those unhealed projections of who we are. I mean, when we work from the ego self, we usually cause a lot of harm, and we cause a lot of unnecessary negative emotions into this world, which is, as you say, it's uncalled for. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, once you break free from the ego self and the personal identity which you've created within yourself, you
Mm-hmm.
realize that you perceive the world from a perspective of who you are
Mm-hmm.
and not of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what it is and who you are is two different things. And yes, your perspective is much needed.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't heal the perspective first, we're going to perceive in a filtered perspective, in an ego self perspective, and contribute we won't contribute at all. We'll break down, we'll
Mm-hmm.
destroy everything that comes in our way from relationships. If you're not healed within yourself from your previous relationship and you walk into a new relationship, you're going to break that relationship. It's already broken because you went into the relationship with a bad intent. The ego self was guiding your intention. But if you work from the unconditional perspective of it, from pure intent, from I'm doing this because it contributes to everybody around me. I am a living part of this organism, which is everything. And I have to be a constructive embodiment of this organism.
Mm-hmm.
And realizing that that's what we deserve. We all deserve it. But you have to realize it within yourself first. And then you can inspire it within someone else. Finding that love for the self, no matter what you've done wrong, no matter how many mistakes you've made. I mean, speaking from an honest point of view, yeah, I mean, I had a drug addiction problem for how many years? But up until the point where you accept that, listen, this is a coping mechanism which I'm using to deal with undealt with emotions, undealt with
Exactly.
things that happen in our lives.
Exactly.
I mean, if you don't deal with it, if you don't heal it, you're constantly going to need the coping mechanism, or you're going to constantly try to escape your reality because you can't deal with your reality. So you have to get to that acceptance of, yes, I'm flawed. So what?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly.
yes, I make mistakes, but so what? As long as the intent is there on unconditional love and it's a pure intent, it's fine. It's the action, as you said, it's the actions don't make the situation, as people act from their own perspective. So from your perspective, their actions might be wrong, but from their perspective, that's the only love that they know, is that twisted form of love which
Exactly.
they have been taught from for generations. I mean, it goes back so long, so many years. I mean, it's not just a now thing. It's something that's been going for generations and generations. And
Yeah.
every time a new child is born into this world or into this life, I mean, he brings along all of the hurt and all of the unhealed generational, you know, disturbances in his soul.
Yeah, because
He brings it
it
along
gets
up
passed
until
on generation
he's
to
strong enough to
generation.
heal it within him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as soon as that child heals it within himself, the next generation will obviously be a more healed generation, because the generation before has done the job of healing it. And it's not something that will be found in money. It's not something that will be found in experiences of life. It's not something that will be found in a new country or in a new car. It's I'm sitting in this room with myself,
Mm-hmm.
learning to get to know myself, loving myself for who I am, and learning that who I am can contribute constructively to everything that is, and I can be a part of that. And that's when we realize we're all a part of this great love, this unconditional love that we can share with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not open to it, you can't really receive it as thoroughly, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew you would be the perfect person for this topic, and I've been looking forward to discussing this with you. Um, are there any
Well, I
last?
had a few weeks, huh?
Yeah, we've had a few weeks to prepare for it. Are there any last things, any last words that you want to add to this discussion?
There is something that I would like to add. I just want to say to everyone out there that, first of all, learn to love yourself, learn to forgive yourself, and learn to love other people and forgive other people. I mean, you can't love and accept someone else in your life or on your journey if you don't first of all learn to love and accept yourself. And we have to all get to that mindset and that mentality in life where now we need to evolve and we need to revolutionize this world again. And the only way to do that is through love and acceptance. It's the only way that we're going to move forward within this everything that's going on in the world right now. So yeah, just please guys, learn to love and accept yourself. Go speak to yourself in the mirror, literally speak to yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself that you love yourself, that every single flaw that you find in yourself, find 3 positive things to say back to yourself. It's so important to learn to love yourself again. And yeah, that's all that I would like to add.
Nick,
And thank you guys for having me. Huh?
Nick, no, it's been such a pleasure, dude. It's been such a pleasure, and I have to say, like, unconditional love towards the entire world that's what I'm all about. That's what change the mentality is all about. That's why I created it. And that's what I want to teach the world. But you've taught me something in this video, and you've touched me in this video. And a part of that is that I need to go back. And even though I love myself and I understand myself, I think when it comes to understanding myself, I'm like all the way there. But what I need to work on is loving myself. And you've taught me that in this video. And I like what you said about going into the mirror and talking to yourself in the mirror, and those positive affirmations and talking positively to yourself. I'm definitely going to look at doing that and putting that into practice. Nick, it was great having you on the show. Thank you very much. And I'll chat to you soon again, man.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's always been a pleasure talking to you. I like the fact that you help inspire. I like the fact that you help make a change, and we need more people like you in this world right now. We need more lovers, and we need more productive, active ingredients to make all of this better. And thank you for being that ingredient.
Nick, I'll chat to you soon again. Thanks, man.
Shots, buddy.
Right, there you have it, guys. That's it from us this week on the topic of love. But obviously, love is a big topic. So leave us your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about love? And if you enjoyed this video, hit that button over there. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that button way down there. Yeah, sweet, guys. See you next week. It was actually Rex. I don't know if you remember Rex. He cut it for me. Like, he decided to cut it like that for me, and then afterwards a different hairdresser, but like I kept it the same.
The boy's good.
Yeah. In any case, Rex, welcome to not Rex. Okay, Nick, welcome to the show, man. Andrew. Wasn't it Andrew that was with us?
Yeah, the other guy that was there with us, the guy that's doing the whole, he's teaching students. Is it
Rex?
Something? He was doing psychology or something, and we spoke about
it's Andrew, dude.
Mentality thing.
Yeah, it was Andrew. I actually messaged him as well and asked him if he wanted to do a video, but he hasn't gotten back to me. So, but yeah, it was him. It was the three of us having a discussion. I remember that day. It was good.
Yes, and that's when we started speaking about how he's in a position where he can actively make a change in people's lives, and he can inspire change in people. And then you come and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make YouTube vibes. Watch me inspire.